And let's share the pranava together. One time, inhale, bringing our hands to heart center. Take a breath in. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sharing the Gayatri mantra. One time, take a breath in. Om Bhava Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And relax. Carol or Barbara, do you have any questions about the breath work that we've done the last couple of classes where we do 16 repetitions of Kapalbhati breath, and then we inhale and exhale twice, nice and slow, and then we repeat? Any questions?
The only question I have is, when I used to do it alone, I would change up my speeds all the time, sometimes go very fast and then slow, which if I'm counting for 16 is difficult. So I just stay slow now.
Yes. Okay. Actually, whichever way you do it is good. The good thing about counting is that it helps us sometimes be aware of the passive inhale because we're paying a little more attention to it. The bad thing with counting is that it becomes mechanical. So you want to kind of find the balance.
I always found that for some reason, I always feel like I never take an inhale. Of course, I know I do, but if I'm doing 2 or 3 minutes of fast, I'm never aware of it. And you're right, I am aware of it when we do it slow because it's focused. So maybe I stay with the slow until I figure it out.
Okay. I mean, that's been my journey too. I started out slow, then fast, then really long durations. Now I'm going back down to slow ones and short durations, just because I want to redefine again that feeling of the passive inhale, where I know I'm not doing anything, but I experience and I feel the opening and expansion of my lungs. Where if I go fast, we
don't experience. Yeah, exactly. I've only done the breathing exercises with you. So we used to do it 10, 15 minutes and it was slow and fast and wherever it took. It's interesting. I find it interesting, all of the different breathings that we're doing, because again, it goes back to that finding awareness of each thing rather than just doing it mechanical.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Thanks,
Sorry,
Barbara.
Carol.
So let's do 4 repetitions, slow or fast. We'll all meet at the end and just sit quietly and enjoy the breath, and then we'll move on, all right? So sitting up nice and straight. I find it helpful to bring my hands into Chin Mudra, and then just begin. And once you finish, just sit quietly and we'll wait a few breaths for everyone to catch up. So one of the things we notice when we do this breath is that when we do it slow, we actually allow the diaphragm to relax and descend. A lot of times in our normal course of life, or when we come into a stressful situation, whether it is learning a new asana or learning a new skill or talking to someone on the phone, a lawyer perhaps, our breathing changes and that diaphragm actually stays contracted a bit. When it's always in contraction, that signals to the central nervous system that something's going on and you should be alert and attentive and ready to fight or flee or whatever. When we do this Kapalbhati breath slowly and we can experience that relaxation of the diaphragm and understand how that feels, then we can bring that memory back when we're in a stressful situation and say to ourselves, no, diaphragm, breathe deep. That's why your mother's always told you, before you make that important decision, before you act out in anger, take 10 deep breaths. Because we're relaxing the diaphragm, which is changing the course of your central nervous system. And this just helps us with that awareness. All right, let's come into a neutral tabletop. Let's see, I think I'll be this way. So neutral tabletop. Cat and cow. Inhale, looking up. And exhale into cat. 4 more times on your own. Just warming up the spine, warming up the wrists, shoulders, knees and hips, feeling some of that movement in the hip here. So if we're feeling some discomfort in the hip, you can always bring your knees a little further away from your hands or closer. You can open up the distance between your knees or close it. You may find relief there. Even doing something as simple as bringing our toes under and finding a little bit of flexion in the ankles or the heels are up will change some of the movement over the hips. Let's do it one more time. From here, I'll meet back in neutral tabletop, child's pose, with our knees nice and wide. As you exhale, push back, knees are wide, and child's pose. Again, we can always put something between our knee and thigh or underneath our butt to change the movement in the pelvis and through the hip girdle just a little bit. Inhale, come up to neutral tabletop. Exhale to child's pose. So let's just find a little bit of movement here. Continuing, inhale, come up. Exhale, child's pose. Warming up the shoulders also. Inhale, tabletop. And exhale, child's. Integrity of the shoulders, don't slump. Inhale, come up. And exhale, back down. We'll do this one more time. Inhale, neutral tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. Remember, your knees are wide. Big toes are crossing in the back. And hold here. Let's breathe for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Adding a downward facing dog. Inhale up to neutral tabletop. Curl the toes under. Now when we curl the toes under, because our knees were wide, our feet now are also wide, maybe all the way to the sides of the mat, and that's a good place to start. From here, take a breath in and exhale to downward facing dog. And let's hold. So in the South, this is called mountain pose because you're shaped like a mountain. Holding for 4, 3, 2, 1. Passing through a plank. As you inhale, shoulders shift over the wrists. We're in plank. Exhale, gently drop the knees wide. Cross the feet behind you. The big toes are crossed. Exhale to child's pose. Let's do that same sequence again. Inhale, neutral tabletop. Curl the toes under, nice wide spaced feet, and exhale to downward facing dog. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Plank. As you inhale, shift the shoulders over the wrists. And then exhale, gently bring the knees down, cross the toes, and exhale to child's pose. Adding an element here. Doing our best to keep our chest and face on the mat. We're simply going to slide our torso forward. So we sort of pass through puppy pose and then end up laying on the ground face down. All right? So the best you can, perhaps your nose, lips, chin, certainly your hands and forearms are staying on the mat. As you exhale, you start sliding forward. So I'm trying to keep my head down, my butt's in the air until my chest comes down. Keep sliding, sliding, sliding until you end up face down on the mat, legs extended, arms extended in front of you. Feet are as wide as the mat. Coming into a cobra pose, draw the hands behind you, fingertips in line with your shoulders, draw the shoulders back, elbows up. Extend the legs. Remember, active feet. Lift the hands off the mat. Inhale, lift the face off the mat. Right here, adjust the shoulders again. Do not clench the buttocks. Instead, find that little bit of a anterior pelvic tilt that we did in cow and cat. And then inhale, rise up just a little bit more. Hold here. It doesn't matter how high you're up. What matters is that you have the least amount of tension in the buttocks. You're not crunching through the lumbar. Shoulders are down and relaxed. There should be no tension in the neck. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's come into dolphin. So to do that, as you exhale, you bring your forearms down. Try and bring your elbows underneath your shoulders. Hands are flat on the mat. Bring the shoulders behind you. So actually now I am in a sphinx. Let's pass through sphinx first, or baby cobra. Curl the toes under, pushing up into a dolphin plank. Inhale, push up, dolphin plank. Exhale, downward facing dog, or I should say, sorry, dolphin, since we're on our forearms. As you lift up, you may need to bring your feet forward a little bit, and you end up in a dolphin. Let's hold this. Remember, don't dump the weight into your shoulders. Keep pushing through the shoulders. 4, 3, 2, 1. Passing through dolphin plank. As you exhale, you bring the shoulders over the elbows now. Slide the feet back a bit. You're in a dolphin plank. As we exhale, we gently bring the knees down. Release the toes. Child's pose. Exhale to child's pose. Sliding the body forward, keeping the chest down, the butt high until the total body is laid down, face down. Take a breath in. Exhale, start sliding forward. And end up face down. Arms and legs extended. As you like, you can open up the feet if they're not open already to the sides of the mat. Getting ready for a cobra. Draw the hands back. Fingers in line with the shoulders. Shoulders down, elbows behind you. Elongate. Feel an active leg. Slight pelvic tilt without crunching the buttocks. Inhale, lift the head. Inhale, lift the hands off the mat. Inhale again. Lift up into a cobra with no support. There should be no tension in the shoulders and the neck. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take a breath in. Exhale, place the hands down. Come up onto your forearms into Sphinx. And hold. Same thing here. Shoulders back as much as possible. Active legs. Shining the heart. Breathe through the ribs. 4, 3, 2, 1. Dolphin plank. Curl the toes under. Keep that little bit of pelvic tilt. Inhale, lift up. You're in a dolphin plank. Dolphin pose. Take a breath in. Exhale, bring the hips back. Perhaps walk the feet forward so you come into a dolphin. It's the same angle in the shoulders as a downward facing dog, so we're trying to open up through the shoulders. Push through the mat. Relax the head. Don't worry about your hamstrings. As we warm up, they'll start to lengthen. 4, 3, 2, 1. Passing down to dolphin plank. As you inhale, shift the shoulders now over those elbows and come down into dolphin plank. Child's pose. Take a breath in. As you exhale, bring the knees down, relax the feet, and child's pose. Sliding forward. Take a breath in. Exhale, start sliding forward. Feel that nice undulation of the spine as you come face down on the mat. Cobra, draw the fingers back, fingers in line, shoulders drawn back, elbows up, active legs, slight pelvic tilt. Let's lift the hands off now. Inhale, lift the head off the mat. Adjust. Inhale again, rise up, make your adjustments. Breathe through the rib cage. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming into Sphinx. Go ahead, bring the forearms down. Best to your ability, elbows and shoulders in line. And find your Sphinx. Bring the shoulders behind you. Elongate the legs. You can feel the difference here if you play with it. If you clench the buttocks, if you relax it, slight pelvic tilt, drawing the pelvis forward and up. See how that relieves tension through the lower back? Breathe through the ribs. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Dolphin plank, curl the toes under. Inhale, come up. Dolphin plank. Exhale to dolphin pose, bringing the hips back, perhaps moving the feet forward a little bit, and then opening up through the shoulders. Nice dolphin. Actually, this is a modified dolphin, what we're doing right now. In a real dolphin, your shoulders are over your elbows, and you have a nice straight back there, and then your feet are a little closer to your head. But for our purposes, this is a nice variation. 4, 3, 2, 1. Last sequence. Inhale, pass through dolphin plank. Exhale, release the knees and come into child's pose. Inhale, slide forward. Exhale, draw the hands back for cobra. Adjust fingers, shoulders, elbows. Lengthen leg. Slide anterior pelvic tilt. Lift the hands off the floor. Inhale, lift the head off the floor. Make adjustments. Inhale, rise up just a little bit more. Shoulders are relaxed, neck is relaxed. Lengthen through the feet. 4, 3, 2, 1. As you exhale, release the hands down, bringing them into Sphinx pose. And shine the heart. Active feet. Breathe through the ribs. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Dolphin plank, curl the toes under. Keep that pelvic tilt. Inhale, lift up, all in one unit. And then exhale into dolphin pose, bringing the hips up, walking the feet forward as needed. Elongate the back. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming into child's pose, take a breath in. As you exhale, pass through your dolphin plank, then drop the knees, and exhale back to child's pose. Let's hold here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Sitting up in Vajrasana, lift the head, lengthen the back. Inhale, draw the hands back. Rest them lightly on your knees, roll the shoulders back, lengthen through the spine. If when you come up, you tend to overarch the back, this is a good time to practice that pelvic tilt. Just a little bit to bring some length to the spine. Okay, Carol, I'm putting you on the spot, but can you sit comfortably in this position or in a cross-legged position? Which works best for you? Okay, I can't see you, so you have to talk to me.
Cross-legged.
Okay, so let's come to a cross-legged position. Does this cause pain in your hip, or was it the knee that was bothering you in Vajrasana?
The knee.
Okay. But in this position, your knee can hinge enough, and you can open enough that it's comfy?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. One other question. When we extend the hip behind us, does that bother your hip, or is it
yes.
opening out laterally?
Yes.
Yeah,
My
the first?
one, yes.
Wait, I spoke over you. Say it again.
Yes, my left one.
Okay, and it hurts when it's opening laterally or behind you?
Both.
All right. So let's do this. I'm assuming it's arthritis, some type of arthritis, which is over time going to start shortening and contracting the muscles around the left hip just to protect it. So we still want to do some movement through the hip just to keep as much muscle balance and strength as we can, even as your hip deteriorates. Until you do something, we still want to keep it as healthy as possible. So let's come into a wide seated straddle. Well, or as wide as we can. Maybe bring a block or a cushion to support you. So when we're working through the flexibility and some of this balancing of muscles here, it's very important that as I do a forward fold, my knee is pointing up, the toes are pointing up, and I have a slight, what they call dorsiflexion, slight flexion of this ankle. Even right now, I'm lifting the arch, and I can feel an external rotation through the knee and through the hip. Just that awareness, just that little bit of muscular tension is going to help keep as much integrity of your hip as you can. For Barbara, because your hamstrings are a bit tight and then you're tight through the glutes, this awareness is also really important as you do a forward fold. All right, so let's do a forward fold to the left. Remember, these are those long ones where we hold it for a minute halfway, then another minute 3/4, and I think we might even stop at 3/4 today. So let's turn our body towards the left. Even this turning towards the left, I am not losing contact with that right hip and that right seat bone. For me, it's my back that stops me from actually turning to the left. So I'm trying to think about elongating the spine first so I don't crunch the vertebrae, then I turn. All right, let's do a forward fold halfway. Hands are on either side of the left knee. Shine the heart, lengthen the back. Take a breath in. As you exhale, come down halfway. Don't crunch. Try and come down with a straight back and hold. If you feel a temptation for the right leg to come inward towards the midline, just gently bring it back out. Little exterior rotation through the hip, knee, and ankle of the right foot. Another 30 seconds. What we're trying to do is counteract that defensive mechanism that we have around an injury where the muscle fibers start to contract to protect the joint. So we're telling the joint, take it easy. We're telling the muscles, relax. Exhale. Let's come down another 1/4 of the way. We should feel the lengthening, but we should not be in pain. It shouldn't be to the point where we're counting the seconds. This should feel a bit challenging, but also good. The kind of that good pain that we can stay in for several minutes and not run away from. Let's hold this pose for one more minute, and I invite you to really think about making each breath the most perfect inhale and perfectly balanced exhale that you can. All right, so inhale and exhale is the focus for one more minute. Nice and smooth, no jerkiness in the breath. Do your best not to fidget. Coming out of the pose, lift the head, lengthen the back. Inhale, slide the hands towards the middle of the body, sitting up and facing forward. Let's turn to the right. Now, when we come to the right, let's say, our left hip may be the one that is injured or damaged. Sometimes it's tightness in the lower back, right between the glutes and the lumbar vertebrae that have already contracted to protect that hip. So you may be feeling some of that tension and that release of tension when we do the forward fold to the right. So let's set up, lengthen the spine, hands on either side of the knee. Take a breath in and exhale. Let's come down halfway. Not losing integrity of that left leg. And let's hold. Exhale again, and let's come down a little further. Again, remember, this should be an enjoyable sensation, not one that has us screaming in pain, okay? So we should be able to hold this indefinitely. So if you feel that you went a little too deep, just come up. And coming out of the pose, lift the head, lengthen the back. Inhale, slide the hands up. Towards the middle of the body and sit up. Let's bring our block or whatever we're using in front of us. Forward fold here in the middle. This is a really wonderful way to stretch that lower back, which can be tight, and that's what's holding our hamstrings and not allowing us to lengthen. Hands in front, roll the shoulders back. Take a breath in. Exhale, forward fold, just 50% of the way, and hold. All right, exhale again, and let's come down a little further. Hold this for 2 minutes. Don't lose the integrity of your feet, knees, and hips here. Slight attention to the external rotation of the legs, so we're not tempted to bring the toes inward. And gently coming out, lift the head, lengthen the back, draw the hands back towards the middle of the body, sitting up nice and straight, shoulders back. Hold here. Really feel the use of the core muscles to help lengthen the back. So as time goes by and just through natural aging and arthritis sets in, being able to sit up straight, even when our hips are not working, is a real benefit. So it's really worthwhile being able to sit like this, either with our legs wide or with our legs together in Dandasana, and understanding, because maybe our joints are going to go. Okay, that's a given. Through time, our joints are going to start deteriorating. But our muscles, they're a wonderful cellular structure, and you can keep your muscles strong, balanced, and elastic just by daily awareness of your movements. And this is wonderful, just sitting like this. All right, let's come to our back, knees to chest, and let's explore how our hips move in that position. So supine position, knees to chest. So here, of course, there's a lot of nice, wonderful adjustments we can do. We can hold the thighs rather than the knees. And for me, with the different surgeries I've had, sometimes my knees have been really far away from my chest. Sometimes my knees have been very open, sometimes together. So just work with what you have. What is important here is that I am not, or I'm trying not to lift my buttocks up. I want to elongate the back, find that tailbone, and have it touch the mat, no matter where my knees are. I would like, to the best of my ability, to have the tailbone that I can feel right here at the bottom on the mat. Then I relax the hips. Chin is a neutral position. Shoulders are wide into the mat as best you can. And just hold here and try your best to relax into the position, taking the total weight of the leg into the bicep. This static pose is, man, there's so many great benefits to it. And you don't have to do anything. Just lie here, find that perfect breath. And let's hold 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we've done it before, but I'm going to explain exactly what is happening. Let's take your hands to your right knee. As you exhale, extend the left leg down the mat. Now, for some of us at different times in our life, we cannot extend this left leg down the mat and have it lie nicely flat on the mat. No big deal. Take a block and put it underneath your thigh or perhaps your calf. I like the calf better. It's a better alignment, and it doesn't bother your knee. All right. So now what has happened? When I use a prop underneath my calf, my hip is not quite as open as when the leg is lying down, but I still get to relax the hip flexors in front. We went from, stay where you are, we went from a bent knee, which contracted the front muscles to contract the knee, right? To bring the knee towards the chest. There's contraction in the front, and now I've released it. This action of contraction and release increases blood flow to all the tissues, the muscle, tendon, ligament tissues, and bone, which increases vitality and health. So that's why in yoga, you see us moving through poses where we're shortening and lengthening, opening and closing. Anatomically, what we're doing is increasing blood circulation, which is rich with that oxygen because we've been breathing nice and deep, and it's vitalizing those tissues. So whether you're using a prop or not, you're getting a really nice benefit of opening and closing that left hip. Let's switch sides. Take a breath in, exhale, contract, tilt, left leg rises up towards the sky. Switching legs, bend the left knee, extend the right leg up towards the sky. With control, exhale, release the right leg down the mat. Again, you can use your prop if you like. It's important here to have both hips squared, both hip points facing up towards the sky. Think about the integrity of that right leg, toes, knee, hip. Let's hold. Again, the object is not so much to have the left knee touch the chest, as much as it is to be aware of your hips are squared and you're lengthening the spine. Let's hold here for 4, 3, 2, 1. Bringing the right leg up towards the sky. Take a breath in. Exhale, contract, tilt. Right leg rises up. Release the hands to the sides, palms up. Extend the left leg up. Both legs are extended toward the sky. Look at your toes. Let's do a little slight lifting of the arch. So I'm bringing attention to the big toe and the outer heel. Slight exterior rotation of the knee and the hip. Hold here, just feel that. Let your body learn this position. Keeping that awareness of your legs as you exhale, open up into a straddle. Now again, if this is causing some extra pain, we can always put a little bit of a block to help hold the hip that is hurting, or a cushion there, so it doesn't go beyond the range of motion that is comfortable for us. You can even bend your knee. But even as I bend my knee, I do not lose awareness of the lifted arch and exterior rotation of the knee and the hip. All that awareness is going to keep the health of your hip for as long as possible. Bringing the legs together. Take a breath in. Exhale, bring them together. Bend the knees for a nice spinal twist. Again, sometimes in a spinal twist, we feel an issue in the hip joint. So we can put a block in between our knees or a block on the floor that we rest on. All right, so take a breath in. Exhale, let the knees come to the right as you look to the left. Let's hold this for 8. 7. Again, you may be wondering, okay, how does this help my hip? Remember that the hip joint, there's a lot of muscles that run through the lumbar vertebrae, muscles that attach over the hip to the spinal column, low down in the lumbar area. When those muscles that connect the spine to the hip are tight, it's going to cause an uneven pull on the pelvis, which will eventually wear down the cartilage, eventually bring bone on bone, which doesn't feel good. So spinal twists are really important to help lengthen and release muscles through the spine to give us nice pelvic health. 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's switch to the other side. Take a breath in. Exhale, contract, tilt, bring the knees to center and over to the other side. And let's hold this. Eight, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back to center, take a breath in. Exhale, contract, tilt, knees to center, hands to knees, knees to chest. Once more, lengthening the spine and really relaxing through that hip joint as best we can. And step by step, let's come into Savasana together. So release the hands, just let them come to the sides, palms down. Release the feet to the mat behind your butt. Center yourself on your mat if you need to. All right, let's elongate the spine first with the pelvic tilt and lifting the hips up. So all together, take a breath in. Exhale, contract. Feel that tilt of the hip, hold it and lift the hip slightly off the mat. Try and find a little stronger pelvic tilt and you can feel your lumbar vertebrae lengthening. Okay, with that feeling intact, lower the butt down to the floor. Next, right leg. As you exhale, extend it down the mat, push out from your hip, and lower the heel. Same thing with the left. Take that leg, extend it down the mat, push through the heel, through the hip, and relax. Soften the knees, let the feet roll out to the side. That automatically starts to release the hip flexors and the lower back. Arms, both arms lift up, clasp the hands together, bring the hands closer toward the sky, lifting the shoulders out of their joint just a little bit. Release the hands, widen the fingers, and now as you exhale, palms up, extend the arms to the sides, really extend out of the shoulder and lay them down on the ground. If you're comfortable lifting your head without any support, lift the head off the mat and tuck the chin. Really tuck the chin so you feel a wonderful lengthening through the back of the neck. As I exhale, I keep my chin tucked for as long as I can as I bring the back of the head down to the mat. So go ahead and do that. And then release the chin. As you release the chin, you release the tension in the shoulders and the neck, and you're in Savasana. And let's just enjoy here. Learning how to relax is just as important as doing a beautiful downward facing dog or triangle pose. It's just as important. So that was a short Savasana. If you can stay longer, go ahead. But if we're ready to come out, we observe our breath, we observe our mental activity, and then we start to bring movement to toes and ankles, fingers and wrists, knees and elbows, hips and shoulders, neck and head. And all together, let's exhale and roll onto one side. Exhale again and push yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Closing our class, inhale hands to heart center, sharing the pranava together. Take a breath in. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Exhale, bowing down to the teacher within. And inhale, coming up, eyes open, full awareness. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thanks, ladies. See you
Thanks.
tomorrow.